Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Welcome back to our channel and thank you for joining me again. It's still Saturday morning. It's Saturday morning, Saturday night. Who is that? Bay City Rollers, guys. That's right. Can you name the 4 original Bay City Rollers? Was there 5 original Bay City Rollers or 4 of them? Can you? Because I think I can, even though I don't know if there were 4 or 5 of them. Guys. You guys know I was a commissary manager from the jail, and I did that for a minute there. And, you know, I wanted to talk to you about that because there's a great channel. It's Grizzly True Crime, and the woman gets a lot of FOIAs. She breaks things down. She breaks it down to layman's terms where everybody can understand it. She goes over things. She's very patient. She's got an amazing accent from South Africa, but I think she lives in Switzerland now, which is really nice. She has an amazing channel. So it's Grizzly True Crime, guys. Please check that out. And she got the commissary, you know, the kiosk, the commissary for the jail that Stephan Sterns is in, Osceola County, I believe it is. And it brought me back. It brought me back to the days that I was commissary manager. And while I was driving to work, I was talking into my video recorder that I thought later I would kind of redo this way. But then I thought, no. That was, what I said was real. It was genuine. It was true. And I thought, no, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use Grizzly True Crime's background here. I highly recommend the channel, guys. I get so much information from them, and again, the accent, but there's so much information, and she's spot on. She's facts. I mean, she's facts. She puts in her theories, but she makes it clear that they're her theories, but they're facts, and she gets, again, the FOIA information and puts it in order and shares it. And all she asks is that we tag her in that, but I'm going to do more than that, guys. Please check her channel out. It's much more bigger than my channel. You probably have checked her channel out, but if you haven't, you know, please go over there and tell her that Toddy One Skip sent you. Guys, also, again, it was nostalgic. It was so nostalgic to see the commissary sheet and say, oh my God, look at how big it's gotten. Guys, again, I'm going to say this again because this is a saying that has stuck with me after I read it from my most favorite television show called Vis-a-Vis, otherwise known as Locked Up. Netflix used to have it. It's a Spanish show about women lifers, women who are in prison for life, and it's a drama. It's a written drama, so it's a scripted show, completely scripted show. And there's a lot of great lines in that show, and one of them said that liquid is the only element that can keep the shape exactly in the environment it's in any kind of configuration, any kind of design, any kind of shape. It will go to each crevice. It will fit into it perfectly. Our bodies are 70% liquid. We fit into jail cells, and we get accustomed, and we adapt. And when we get commissary on top of it, we could be a king in our own mind there, a queen in our own mind there. So I know the value of commissary because I used to sell it in the jails. And I know how important it is to inmates. And there were caps on the commissaries. And there were limits. And you couldn't have more than what you were supposed to have because then you could lose your commissary. I was looking, it seems like where I used to work, general population got commissary 2 times a week. If he's in general pop, which he shouldn't really be, but if he's in general pop, he gets his commissary twice a week. He gets it twice a week, it seems, anyway, if you look at the scheduling of it. But guys, I wanted to tell you a little bit about being a commissary manager and what that takes and what that's like and, you know, how the inmates get their stuff and all that stuff. So I figured I would share this with you guys, and I hope that you enjoy it. I'll butt in on occasion, interrupt myself. Thanks, guys. Listen up. So, guys, yeah, I thought I'd dive into this because, as a lot of you know, I was a commissary manager for the Arlington County Jail for quite some time, and then we took over the Alexandria County Jail like cockroaches, like we are, and I'm not near as familiar, and I wasn't near as familiar with the Alexandria County Jail as I was with the Arlington County Jail, that I knew inside out, backwards, forwards. I saw it being built, the conception of it, the blueprints of it. I saw all of that, and I worked across the street at the old jail while the new jail was being built. I actually stayed in a cell block for a little bit in the brand new jail before there were actually doors on the cell block. So I took a tour of it, and anyway, so I knew the jail backwards, forwards, front, back, sideways. And the commissary was quite different from the old Arlington County Jail to the new one. For example, as you guys know, they didn't even sell greeting cards when I was working in the Arlington County Jail. And that's how I started selling greeting cards in the jail. Was I had a greeting card company, a small little company. It wasn't doing anything. It was sitting in boxes at this point. You got to sell an awful lot of cards to make any kind of money, and I just never really thought about that, to be honest with you. I told you I'm not good with business. But at any rate, I put my cards in a box, and then one day, while I was a kitchen manager in the Arlington County Jail, I had an inmate that said, "Hey, can I just finish my poem to my girl, and then I'll jump on the line?" Because we had like this conveyor belt type system where you'd put the trays through, and somebody would put the meat on, somebody would put the potatoes, somebody put the greens on, somebody put the dessert on. You had a person putting the spork in there, and you know what I'm saying? So anyway, I took his place in line, but the deal was, I got to see your poem. I want to read your poem when you come back and get to work. So anyway, yeah. So I said, I will let you go ahead and finish your poem as long as I could read it. And he said, yeah, that's cool. So when he came back, I read his poem. He asked me what I thought. I thought it was a good poem. And I said, I let you do this because I'm a writer and I have some poetry. He said, oh man, I'd love to see your poetry. So my poetry was in the form of greeting cards at this point. So I came in, I showed greeting cards, not thinking, wow, this is a fucking market that I could jump into. And that's what happened. My greeting, they were selling cigarettes in the jails at the time, and it was fucking gold. That was the currency, were cigarettes at the jail, So I had people offering me packs and packs of cigarettes for one greeting card, and I was like, fuck that, I'm going to the director. And I went to Director Bogart. That's who it was. I went to Director Bogart, and he was great. He was so good with me. But here's the thing. They only made a quarter off of each of my cards. And I sold a lot of cards. So much so that I started selling in Alexandria. And that my cards ended up going nationwide because a bigger company came in and bought all my inventory. And then I started selling before they were ever legitimately adult coloring books, real intricate coloring books. I was selling coloring books like that in the jail system. Hand to God, it was called Color This! Exclamation point. And I was selling those in the jail system before there was a market for adult coloring books. So tell me my pulse wasn't on the fucking, that my hand wasn't on the pulse then, So I didn't have to get over dickhead. I know that I should, but give me a chance to get there. So yeah, and so there was very few items on the commissary list in the mid-90s, early to mid-90s, than there were in the late 90s. There was, the commissary list had gotten a lot bigger, however, and not to this extreme. This is like a fucking catalog here, So we didn't. I mean, I couldn't have fit everything in my little commissary area, to be honest with you, if we sold all this stuff, because the max, we had 3 different types of soup but all the same kind. It was the old school cup of noodles, right? Nissin, Nissan cup of noodles, and we just had beef, chicken, and vegetable. That was it. We had one type of hot sauce. I want to say it was Pete's hot sauce. I'm not sure about that. We had the commissary list was 8 by 14. That was it. I think it was one-sided only. And that was it. And the thing that took up most of the space was the flavors of the chips. It wasn't, and the flavors, the different candy bars. It wasn't the items so much. The items were pretty basic. It was the flavor or the assortment of that item. Candy bars. We might have had 30 different types of candy. But this, she said, was it 4 or 5 pages, 8 by 14 at least? It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, so times have definitely changed, and they have these tablets now. I don't know who gets the tablets, what gets the tablets. I heard from Jumpsuit Pablo that these tablets are free. So I know nothing about the tablets, so I can't speak on that except for what I've seen lately on the internet and such. Otherwise, I can't really speak on the tablets. But this commissary list is crazy. Pickles. I don't think we sold pickles. We might have sold. But things have changed. They definitely have changed up. And what people can have. And as far as tennis shoes and stuff like that goes, so when we bought the tennis shoes for the inmates, and you have to remember, you can only have so much stuff. At any time, if there was a shakedown, or they were spinning your cell, if you had more commissary items than you should have had, you could lose your commissary. Not permanently, but you could lose your commissary. And then you could lose days on your commissary. So if you get a commissary twice a week, which is what General Pop got where I was, where I worked, you could lose your commissary. You can lose your commissary for a month. That's losing it 8 times. So anyway, it is what it is. I totally. It was wild. To me, that's wild. Wild and crazy guy. So yeah, to me, that's definitely the case. But so what was I gonna say? So you had to have, because you couldn't extort people, you couldn't let people borrow your commissary, like you couldn't loan shit out because they knew nobody out of the goodness of their heart was like, oh yeah, you can have a bag of shit. But when you get your commissary, whenever you get your money, just get back to me on it. It's never the case. It's always, you could have a bag of chips, I'll take 2 back from it. You know what I mean? Now, I think that the collateral or the cost is so much higher. I think that the turnover rate is much higher now. There's just so much on the commissary list, and what is that saying? I keep going back to it. That liquid is the only mineral that takes the form of the space around it. Meaning that it adjusts, it adapts, right? It turns into, it becomes, right? And we are 70% water. So if we're 70% liquid, we can pretty much adapt to things, yeah? And we do. So he is living his best life inside of this jail. This is what he wanted, right? He wanted to play games all day. He wanted to sleep all the time. He wanted to have be responsible for very little bit. You're responsible for nothing in jail. You fucking do what you're told. End of story. You don't get to make any decisions, any choices. How easy is it for somebody like Stephan Sterns? That kind of life, until somebody gets their hands on him. Somebody's I'm sure somebody's looking to get their hands on him if they haven't already gotten their hands on the guy. Because of his crime, his dirty paperwork. He's not going to be popular in a good way there. It's not good. But that's all right. So, guys, what do you think? I don't think that Stephan Sterns wants to lose his commissary, but I think somebody's going to beat the hell out of him for it, especially when they know he has over $1,000 that's already been spent on the commissary from his parents. You guys check it out at Grizzly True Crime, guys. Check it out. Guys, tell me what you think about this. This is Issues with Toddy One Skip. Be better today than you were yesterday, not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Always be kind. Stephan Sterns is kicking it up, enjoying life inside the four walls. 3 hots and a cot and extra goodies. Come on, guys. We need more punishment than that, and Jen Soto needs to be joining him. All right, guys, take care. Take care.